All right, coaches, appreciate you tuning to my YouTube channel. I'm usually a scheme kind of guy on this channel, but this series I'm going through is basically, I call it Head Coaching 101. I've got plenty of books and resources available on my website if you want to go grab some, fbcoachsimpson.com, or you can get them on Amazon as well. A lot of books that are dedicated to helping coaches. Whether you coach football or whatever sport, I hope this can help you along your way. Or even if you're not a coach, maybe you are in charge of a company or you're working as a leader in some capacity, maybe this can help you a little bit. We talked about developing, we talked about matching the scheme or making sure you put the people in the right places, basically. We talked about delegating, what that really means and how to get the most out of people. This one's going to talk about organizing your time. One of the worst things in the world, this was me as a head coach a long time. I'd go in, I knew we needed to do certain things, and it's 6 p.m. and I got nothing accomplished on my list. Not one thing. I'm a list kind of guy, so I want to make sure I get it done. It doesn't mean things didn't come up during the day that had to be addressed and dealt with. That might have been more important than I put on my list. But I started recognizing what was happening was I was not being very intentional to prioritize what needed to be done and when. So for instance, if you're a head coach, you may have 4 things on your list that you want to get done. Well, here's a couple different ways you can make sure these happen. Number one, you may go to this delegation part here and figure out somebody who can help you do a couple of these. So smaller jobs, okay, or jobs, not that they're not important, but jobs that somebody else can do. I use what I call an 80-20 rule. So basically, if a guy on my staff could do the job about 80% as good as me, give it to them and let them do it. Make sure that they understand what you need done, but allow them to do that. I know it's going into delegating, but that will save you a lot of time if you're using those around you to do some things for you. Second thing is make sure you're prioritizing what needs to be done first and do that first. I know that sounds simple and that sounds cliche, but get up to the field house at 6 a.m. when no one's going to be there to bother you, or if you're a night owl, plan out 8 p.m. or whatever, and get that done. So boom, it's done and off your plate. And now you can move to number 2. So if you don't get to number 7, you might have got 1 through 6 done. Because if you're a head coach or you're a leader in any organization, you're going to put out fires all day. That's your job. You show up and you just put out everybody's fires, is what it seems like. But if you have things you need to get done, learning to use other people and learning to prioritize are important. Number 3 for me is to make sure that you have long-term things. So what I mean by that is you may have ultimate goals you want to do. And this may be inside of coaching, this may be inside of whatever. But these are things you know you're going to do all the time. Shouldn't be a surprise to you on Sunday night that you need to have practice schedules done. You knew that, a long time ago. So why do you not spend your time in the summer or even earlier in the weekend getting them done? Well, a lot of times we haven't organized and thought far enough ahead of what needs to be done and made that list of here's what needs to get done, here's how I'm going to do it, here's roughly when I'm going to do it. At this point, it may be too late for you to go back, obviously, and fix that, but I would highly encourage you, and I've got a few things on my website, like a coaching manual, to come up with your own. Come up with your own coaching manual, and inside of that, make it a living document where you document the things that you are doing so that you're not repeating the same process every year. I had a principal a long time ago that told me, have you been teaching for 28 years or have you taught the same thing for 28 years and never gotten any better? Just because you have experience doesn't mean you're moving in the right direction. Are you taking the lessons you're learning here, making a note or making something so that you don't repeat that same mistake over here? To me, that was one of the hardest things as a coach because I was just trying to get through the year, the first couple of years I was coaching. But as I've gone through it, now I have all these different documents I can pull from to help me organize my time a lot better. Just simply because when I was in the moment, I took the 10 minutes to put something on paper so that I could get to that and get it fixed for down the road. Hopefully this helped you a little bit. If nothing else, make sure you're prioritizing your time. Because if you're not, you're going to get caught doing a lot of things that maybe need to be done because they're just there, and not the things that you need to or want to do because you're not organized with how you're spending your time. Last thing I want to leave you on this, if you're still with me, make sure inside of this is time with your family. If you're a football coach, in here needs to be time with your wife if you're married, time with your kids if you have kids, time with whatever else it might be. If you're a religious person, time with God. That needs to be in here, because if you don't budget it in, you'll be surprised how some of the things that should be at the top will get pushed down here and they never get tended to. Be careful not to make that mistake.